All right, guys, how's it going? I'm going to wait just a minute. My name's Krista. I'm with Quantum Innovations. We're just going to wait just a minute to let people join in and get into the room. Look like we have several people logged in. Hope everybody is having a great week. It's Thursday, Friday Eve. Jump on and go into the chat and tell me that you're there. Just give me a hi or something fun. Hi, Cindy. Nice to have you here. There's Natalie. Love it, love it. Let me just get us ready to go. Hey, Tim. Okay. Oh, Nisette, how are you? There's Lori, Caitlin, Dan. Word up, Dan. Hi, Heidi. All right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and get rolling. Ron gives the best hugs from iGroup. Hi, Ron. I miss you, my friend. It's been a long time. All right, so let me just jump in here. Again, my name is Krista Davis. I'm with Quantum Innovations, and I'm happy to have you guys here today as we look at getting back to work and how the post-COVID experience is going to work for our patients. So let's go ahead and dig in, shall we? So first off, who the heck is Quantum? I know that a lot of you probably don't know who Quantum is, but we have worked in the background in optical for about 18 years now, producing equipment and consumables. And we're proud to say that we're the largest independently owned thin film manufacturer in North America. So we work a lot with your laboratories in helping them get you guys your AR coatings, your mirror coatings, and that kind of stuff. So we've been around, you just may not know about us. So let's talk about the post-COVID patient experience, shall we? So a lot of states are opening back up next week. And so we need to look at what that looks like for a patient, what it looks like for us as we try to protect ourselves and sanitize, and how we do things a little bit differently moving forward. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the new normal. We're going to talk about understanding the patient experience. We're going to talk about how we can change our ways and the importance of disinfecting and sanitizing, and how to protect ourselves and our patients, and then effectively sanitizing frames, and then still offering great service, which is at the root of all of this, right? So the whole reason we're here is to offer a great experience to our patients. So first things first, I've seen on a lot of the optical channels that people are kind of weary about going back to work. Frankly, some people are either really excited and happy about it and think everything is fine, and other people think the sky is falling and they're going to have a real problem as soon as they go back to work. Frankly, I don't think anybody knows how the future is going to play out in regard to COVID. So I would suggest that you would do your due diligence and make sure that you look at facts. Let's not, look at some of the news out there that may be misconstruing things, and really just look at the facts. Let's look at CDC, look at the World Health Organization. Those are great sources for real information. And just so you know, that sheet that I just had on there, I'm going to be emailing you guys after the webinar today with some handouts that you guys can have as well. So if you feel like you need something, just either shoot me an email or just wait and see what I send to you guys. You're going to have lots of good stuff after we're done. So the post-COVID patient experience, this is where we need to talk about hand sanitizer. We need to talk about masks. We need to talk about face shields, and then UV, germicidal UV, that's all very important subjects. And it's all going to be a part of your lives going forward as you reopen your clinics to patients. So first, let's talk about the new normal. When I think about the new normal, I think about my grandparents' generation, that era of the Depression, where they lived by the mantra of waste not, want not, because things were in short supply, food was in short supply. I think our generation, this era, is going to be very hyper aware of germs. We are going to be very aware of who we're around, what we touch, the surfaces that we use, even so much as a pen that we use. We're going to think about, oh, I touched that pen. Who touched it before me? Those are all things that are going to be very aware to this era as we move forward post-COVID. So let's break that down a little bit. The general public's going to start, well, they are wearing masks every day, all day, doing normal everyday tasks. This became very clear to me when I went to the bank the other day. I had to get some paperwork for my taxes, and I went in a mask. It was a bright sunny day, so I was wearing my sunglasses and I had gloves on. And 2-3 months ago, I would have been tackled to the ground the minute I walked in the door, because they would have thought that I was a very small bank robber. Not much of a threat, but they probably still would have tackled me to the ground. So this is part of the new norm. Now, if you go to the bank and you're not wearing those things, they could ask you to leave, right? So a lot of things have changed that way. And that leads me into the next thing, is that we are going to have to start, as opticians, we're going to have to start adjusting people's glasses around their PPE of choice, whether it's a shield, whether it's a mask, whether it's a bandana, whatever their choice is for PPE, we are going to be responsible for adjusting the glasses around that, and also solving fogging issues. We'll talk about that as we unbox a mask and show how to properly fit it a little bit later. But fogging basically is just because there's vapor, or excuse me, there's your breath is coming up out of this part of the mask and getting onto your lenses. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? But this is a problem for glasses wearers. I know that there's been a lot of YouTube videos around the subject that I've seen lately. The next one is the new fashion trend of wearing face shield masks and, potentially scrubs. I know that the office I'm in right now, Dr. Pinsky at Camus Optique, was so sweet to let me come and broadcast from her clinic. But they're all in scrubs. And the reason for that is because you can wash those at really high temperatures and not damage the material. And you don't have that freedom with your regular clothing. So that's something to really consider. I know, especially boutiques, they like to offer white glove experience, a really high-end experience. And scrubs kind of feel more medical. It feels like you're, it's not really conducive to a retail environment. But as we move forward, I think it's going to be something that we're going to see more often in a lot of the optical shops. And then next is being prepared to have happy birthday permanently stuck in your head. I have twin 6-year-olds, and they were taught before they left school to sing happy birthday 2 times every time they wash their hands. So that being said, now I hear it 4 times because I've got 2 of them doing it at the same time. So I have the song in my head constantly. So this is something that you're just going to have to learn to live with, like I have. But the other side of that is hand sanitizer. I know that I have a bottle in my purse at all times. I've refilled my bottle a couple times. Having hand sanitizer as the patient comes in, you squirt their hands. This is going to be part of the routine for having patients come to your office. And then lastly, looking at how we clean our frames and equipment, not clean, I need to stop saying that, how we sanitize our frames and equipment effectively in between patients and in different ways. So we need to look at that as well. So as we look at the patient experience, I instantly thought, okay, well, this reminds me of a hazmat suit. So of course I go to the Back to the Future image of Marty McFly wearing the hazmat suit. And you guys, this is a really strange place for me to speak to you. I feel like I'm talking to myself. So if you find something funny, if you have feedback, if you just want to say whatever, please put it in the chat, because I feel like I'm talking to myself. So, and I'm going to laugh. And I'm okay laughing by myself, but I want you to laugh with me, okay? So Marty McFly, of course, this was a terrifying experience for his dad in his younger age. But this is something that we need to think about when the patient comes into our office. We don't want to be scary. We still want to be inviting, right? But we also want to make sure that the patient sees that we're taking it seriously, that we're cleaning our stores, that we're sanitizing, disinfecting, All of that needs to be prevalent and aware. Your patient needs to be aware of that as they come into your store. They're not going to come into a place that they don't trust moving forward. And thanks, Stacy, for laughing with me. All right, so let's talk about changing our ways. There's a few things that we can look at, one being curbside, the restaurant style dispensing. Adjusting can be done in the car. Basic stuff you can do from the car. The other thing you can try is making sure that you escort your patients in. And that's something that was brought to my attention today. There's an office that's doing that. They're making sure the patient calls before their appointment and says, hey, I'm here. Optician goes out, gets them, or says, yes, you can come in, or can you wait, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Carrie, looks like you're not hearing me. Is everybody hearing me okay? Carrie, you might need to turn up your speakers, darling. I'm going to move on. So dispensing from the car, you might be able to figure out how that works effectively for your patients. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, you guys. The approach needs to be different. Your patient needs to realize that you're taking it seriously as well. So the next one, looks like everybody can hear me. So let me see if I can reply to Carrie real quick. All right, so the next one, we're looking at sanitization. So we have a product called Fusion UV, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And that's a new way to sanitize your frames quickly and effectively, and killing all viruses that might live on those surfaces. So you can stick your frames in there, you can stick your tools, you can put accessories. So if you sell any of the like Lick Heaven necklaces that hold your glasses around your neck, any kind of jewelry or accessories that you might have, it's a great way to sanitize those between patients. So anything your patient touches, I would suggest that you either put it in a tray or set it aside so that you can take care of the sanitization and disinfecting after the patient leaves. Okay. PPE, so personal protection equipment, in case anybody doesn't know what PPE stands for. Personal protection equipment, that's your shields, your masks, your scrubs, gloves, all of that stuff. We want you to make sure that you look at that practically and that you take the steps that you can protect yourselves, protect your patients. A lot of times, especially with the masks, those are a little bit cumbersome for anybody working in reception because they have to be able to speak clearly over the phone. So a shield might be a better option for somebody in reception, which we're going to talk about that too in a little bit. The next one is scheduling. So space your patients out. I know that they were just talking on the news on the way here that Tyson is now, or not Tyson, excuse me, Freightliner has 600 people that work in their factory, and they split up shifts. So now they have 2 shifts and they have 300 people working at a time instead of 600. So figure out a way that you can space people out effectively while still trying to see the same amount of patients. I know that's going to be difficult for some that we're seeing a lot of patients back to back. So you may have to just spread out your schedule a little bit more. And then spacing your office, make sure your chairs are arranged so that people can practice social distancing. Be sure to check out the guidelines from the CDC on how to do that. And then also I'm going to be sending you something from the AOA that has the preparedness guide for you guys reopening too. So I'll be emailing that to you as well. And then lastly is clean up your dust collectors. I will be very transparent in telling you that I stole this idea from Robert Bell on his podcast the other day that I heard. But it's a brilliant point. You don't need to have magazines in your shop. Most people bring their cell phones in. That's their entertainment. They don't need a magazine, a People magazine from 5 years ago, to entertain them. So make sure that you're picking those things up. Your business cards, your brochures, all of that stuff needs to be put in a place where you can hand them out individually instead of the patient running their fingers through it and touching all of them. You want to make sure that those items are are something that you give out individually. All right, so the importance of sanitization. Let's dig into this subject. We all kind of know, right, that it's important, especially now with this pandemic. It's something that is unprecedented, and we've never seen anything like this in our lifetime. So let's get a better understanding of the surfaces in our shops, our homes, our vehicles, those kind of things. Take a look around wherever you are, and then also think about your workspace if you're not at work. Look at the surfaces around you, and let's look at how the virus lives. So copper, some people have copper countertops. Copper, it survives for 4 hours. The next one, we have cardboard for 24 hours. And I thought that was interesting because I read an article the other day where they were talking about, they were suggesting that we leave our mailbox alone for 24 hours after the mail is delivered. And that's because cardboard and paper products hold the virus for 24 hours. And not to mention, think about your mailbox, the handle. The mail carrier is carrying a bunch of different things, and it could have something on it. So just be cautious of that as well, and especially those metal boxes at your clinics. And then lastly, plastic and stainless steel countertops, those sort of things. This is the big one. This is the doozy. These are 2 to 3 days that it lives on these surfaces. So be aware of that. Wiping down regularly. I know when I went to the grocery store, they wipe down all surfaces between every customer. It takes longer to check out, so that's why the lines are so long, but it's necessary because of this statistic right here, is that it lives longer on those surfaces. So what are your options? Let's talk about that. So we talked about the hand sanitizer. It's important to look at your hand sanitizer and really look at the ingredients. Some, they're not all created equal. Make sure that you are getting one that's following the FDA guidelines and doing your due diligence when you're shopping online for these things. Our hand sanitizer is 80% alcohol. It's ethanol based. So it's a good topic or a good number to know. So you're going to want to sanitize your patient's hands as they walk in the door. If you see them touch their face, can you just give them another squirt? Just make sure that you are really looking at each step that the patient is taking and sanitizing throughout that experience. The next one is surface disinfectant. We have this coming soon. It's available in large quantities, which we'll discuss that in a little while. Again, talking about those surfaces in your shop, you need to be wiping those down between patients and follow the guidelines on the label. This is a big one that I want to really touch on. Following the time guidelines on the label. The reason is, if you look at any of your Clorox wipes, I did this the other day in my kitchen, as now I'm, supposed to be the expert on disinfecting. I was looking at my Clorox wipes that I have in my kitchen, and it says on there to leave the surface wet to air dry for at least 10 seconds. So very good to know that you need to leave the surface air dry. If you wipe it while it's still wet, it may not have the same effectiveness as if you let it air dry. So please follow those instructions. They're there for a reason. I know some of it seems silly, but something I didn't realize, and I had an aha moment when I read that. The next one is personal protection equipment. So protecting yourself while you are taking measurements is going to be important. Like I mentioned earlier, your receptionist and anybody that is working on the phone, they may have a better time wearing this full time because your mouth is able to move and you have better quality of communication without a mask over your face. And if anybody has trouble breathing, those sort of things, this might be a good option. Your ear is exposed for the receiver, and your mouth is exposed so that you can easily be heard. So keep this in mind. Also, I find it to be a little bit more personal than having that barrier. People are building barriers to put on the countertops between you and your patient. I just feel like that really kind of sets it's not as personal. It doesn't feel as friendly as if you were just wearing a mask and you were protecting yourself that way. So just my 2 cents. And then lastly, germicidal UV. This is the hot topic everybody wants to talk about, and we will go into great detail on this in just a little while. Germicidal UV, it will be essential going forward. This is not new science. It's not something that eye care has really taken much interest in up to now, but I can assure you that people are really paying attention now. So this is something that we really need to look at as we move forward and open our offices back up to the public. So this is, again, where I need some LOLs from you guys. I need some laughter. I need some interaction because I thought these were hysterical, especially the guy with the onion on his face. I'm sorry. I'm not going to want to spend my day smelling like onion and smelling onion. You got a McDonald's bag. These people have gotten really creative with their PPE. So let's be smart about our PPE. Make sure that it's following the recommendations from the CDC. Let's not wear our masks in our car. It's not necessary. There was a guy that got in an accident because he couldn't breathe. So just let's be smart. Have some common sense around the PPE that you choose, okay? Thanks for the laughs, you guys. I appreciate it. Oh, Carrie, I guess you can hear me now, huh? Good. All right, I like it. So next, let's really dig into the hand sanitizer and what that looks like. So the CDC recommends that you use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer greater than 60% ethanol. And like I said, ours is ethanol-based and it's 80%. So this is actually quite effective. That being said, it's a liquid form. It's not a gel. So, and Heidi says she's seen people with plastic bags on their heads. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So keep that in mind when you order hand sanitizer. Make sure if you are particular about the type that it is, look at what it is. If it's liquid, if it's gel, what the alcohol content is. Make sure that you really pay attention to those fine details. And also look at the picture and then look at the description, because your picture that it shows you might have this size, right? And I'll show you the different sizes later in bigger view. And it could be, actually a little tiny bottle that fits in your purse. So make sure that you pay attention to the size of what you're buying. Usually the larger, just like Costco, you can get a better deal if you buy in bulk. Same goes for hand sanitizer. We have quantities in 16 ounce, 32 ounce, 1 gallon, and 2.5 cubitaners. It's a cubitainer of 2.5 gallons. So the bigger bulk you buy, the less expensive it is. So keep that in mind. And it's always a great way to refill and reuse those containers that you already have, or if you have no touch dispensers, even better. So as I mentioned, our hand sanitizer, I'm going to just make myself big real quick and so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I talk about the hand sanitizer. There you go. Hi, there's me on the big screen. So this is the hand sanitizer, antiseptic hand rub, hand sanitizer in other words. But I want to make sure you guys realize this is liquid. It's very much a liquid base, okay? It's not gel, and it smells bad, frankly. It smells medical. It's got a high alcohol content, and it smells like it. So one of the questions that we've received a lot of is, can I add essential oils to my hand sanitizer? And I'm going to go back to my slides so that I'm not looking at myself. The answer is yes, but the answer is also no. So let me go back here. The no is, I kind of did some research around what essential oils do when mixed with different solutions such as alcohol. And what I found is that the Institute of Personal Care has said that these 5 are phototoxic and will cause irreversible staining on the skin when exposed to sunlight. So my suggestion to you is do your due diligence when you are looking to add essential oils to any kind of hand sanitizer, whether it's ours or anybody else's. Make sure that you just research it. I want you to make sure you're safe and that you're not going to harm your skin permanently or even temporarily. Okay, let's just do some research before you do anything on your own. The other question that we get a lot of is, what's the difference between the KN95 and the N95 mask? And frankly put, the only difference is the country of origin. It's very minuscule, the difference between the two when you look at apples to apples. And we'll go through unboxing. I'm going to unbox it and show you how to properly fit it, all those things here in just a minute as well. So keep that in mind, but it's essentially the same thing. The FDA just lifted the restriction on using the KN95 masks in the same way that you would use the N95. So just so you're aware of that. So one thing we found is that with these masks being something that we're wearing every day, all day, people's ears are getting really irritated by the elastic strap that goes around your ear. So what we did is we created what's called an ear saver, and it just goes around the back of your head. Again, I'm going to show you how to properly fit this as well. These are made in Oregon at Quantum's home base there. But this is a way to secure your mask properly to your face and allow it to be comfortable for all day wear, okay? And then the big one, Fusion UV. So this is a Germicidal Uv sterilization box or an oven. And it's going to be something that I think is going to be in every optical shop very soon. I'm going to show you, I'm going to switch gears here. Let me turn off my slides, and I'm going to show you a video of our leader of Quantum. His name is Norm, and he is going to go through the demonstration of what you will do every day to calibrate this machine in your office. So let me start the video. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that one yet. Let me go back. What I'm going to show you actually is the prototype video rather. So let me start that video. There's no sound. So I'm just going to play the video real quick and you can see what we're talking about here. So this is a clamshell design. It will close and seal. So no UV will get out. It's UVC. No UVC will get out of the box, and it will have a timer on it. And it's going to have a place where those rods, go back to my slide here. The rods that you see in there are quartz rods, and what they do is they're holding the frame in place. However, the reason we're using quartz rods is because if you use glass or you use metal, it essentially makes it like if you think about a barbecue grill, it's going to leave grill marks, not really marks, but what it's going to do is not sterilize the frame where that rod is. So by using quartz, we're allowing the entire frame to get sanitized. Heidi, oh, thanks, Heidi. I love my frames too. These are my Leibach and Yorks. Thanks for the compliment. So that's the reason that we're using quartz rods in it. They're also adjustable, so you can move them around if you have different tools and equipment that you want to sterilize. You can move those rods around, and that way they can better suit your needs for your tools and equipment. So what does it actually do? Next is the video that I'm going to show you of Norm discussing your daily calibration that you'll do. But let me go through this before we jump into that. What it's doing is it's taking the shortwave UVC at 254 nanometers, and it's exposing those frames to this light ray. And what it's doing is it is neutralizing the virus on that surface, whatever you put in there, whatever the surface is. And it's doing it in 2 minutes. So the calibration takes 30 seconds, and I'm going to go through that video now. Let me go back, sorry. This is the video of Norm showing you how to do the daily calibration. This is just to make sure that the bulbs are working. This is something that you'll want to do every day to ensure the bulbs are working properly. So let me start this video.
Okay, what I have here is I have a timer, which I'm going to use the time to see how long it takes to inactivate some different bacteria and viruses. What I have here is the prototype unit that we made here at Quantum. This is Germicidal UV, so this is 254 nanometer light. We've got some Quartz Rods here in the middle that transmit short wavelength light. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card like this, which is a UVC dosimeter card. This is commonly used in medical offices. And what we have on the top is MRSA, and on the bottom is C. diff. And what we have is the yellow in the middle is going to change colors when we are able to inactivate MRSA, and then it will change pink when we're able to inactivate C. diff. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this card in the box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to time this thing. Turn it back on. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to press my timer. And then we're going to wait 30 seconds. And then what we should have is the more difficult one to do, in this case, a C. diff. So that was the pink color. So what we should be able to do is inactivate that in 30 seconds. So once we get that far, we'll turn off the box, we'll open it up and see what we've accomplished. So we're at 25 seconds, and 28, 29, 30. Turn off the box, open this up, and again, what we should see is now the color is pink, which, let me just show you the original card again, just to give a comparison. So it starts out yellow, and then what you want to do, this is just like checking the pH in your pool. So when it turns the color that matches, that's how much energy you've given to inactivate the different bacteria and viruses. So it's a very handy tool. This is good for calibration, but it's also cool to demonstrate, very easy to see what it takes to inactivate the coronavirus. All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. No sound. Thank you. Thank you. So this is where I'm going to stop. I want to go through some questions, and Ron asked a question that I really want to make sure we cover. And one is, will it damage acetate frames? And this is something that I've seen on some of the optical channels. So I want to make sure that we dive into this. This is a fact sheet that I'm going to be emailing to all of you. And so you guys will have a copy of what to expect with this machine. Let me answer your question first, Ron. That the only time it can really damage your frames is if it's continuous exposure. Since we're only doing it for 2 minutes, it's not going to damage the frame as far as we know. From what I understand, it takes continuous exposure to damage or yellow frames of the UVC light. And it's asking if it's okay for nylon, and I can't see that far. Yes, basically anything non-organic you'd be fine to put in this oven. It's not going to damage any equipment, your frames, those sort of things. This is being used currently in the medical field, just not in optical. So this is not new science. This is something that we have duplicated to fit the optical industry and your dispensaries. Okay, so let me go through some of these things real quick. How safe is the Fusion UV? There are 2 auto safety shutoffs on the device if opened accidentally. We do not want you guys exposed to UVC. So that's one thing. And it is sealed all the way around, so you're not getting any of the light escaping out of the oven either. What frames can be used? It should not harm any frames. The UV light is a short wavelength, and it sterilizes the surface of all things non-organic. So we don't obviously want to expose ourselves to it, but you can put your tools accessories, those sort of things in it, and feel good about those getting neutralized from the virus. Will it affect, excuse me, how much can it hold? It can hold up to 12 frames. And again, you can move those rods around so you can put different things in, like your tools and accessories, those sort of things. You can also sanitize and reuse your N95 masks. We have room for up to four masks in there. I think you can probably fudge a little bit and fit a little bit more, but we're saying 4, and you need to have your masks in there for 3 minutes. So just to be safe, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in those cloth masks, we want to make sure that it's completely free of the virus. Where are they made? They're made in the USA in Southern Oregon, and there will be a warranty. We are still negotiating what not negotiating, we are still detailing what the warranty is going to look like, but there will be a warranty included as well. How much do they cost? They're $510, and you can get them on our website at qtmi.net. This one's interesting. Why do we use LCD lights? Or does this use LCD lights? No, we use UVC bulbs to create the higher energy. And this is something that I want to talk about. There's other things out there on the market. I'm not going to make any bones like we're recreating the wheel. What we're doing is we're making it so that the light is closer to the frames, and so that's why it only takes a short amount of time. There's other items out there that are similar to this. They're bigger, they're bulkier, they're not made for eyewear, but they're also farther away from the light, which is why you have to keep them in there for 15 minutes or longer. So by having a smaller unit like this, where you can hang the frames and every part of the frame is exposed, you're able to effectively sanitize the frame in just 2 minutes. Ron's asking, is there a tray to hold the frames? I'm assuming for tools. I'm sorry, for tools. There's not, but that's why I said you can move the rods around so that you can lay them out on the rods, and you'll be able to sanitize your tools just fine. One other thing, let's see, the dimensions. That's all going to be on the form that I'm going to send you. The facts that I'm going to send you is what are the dimensions. It weighs less than 20 pounds. But think about like a small toaster oven. That's kind of what I think of when I'm looking at the size of it. The lifetime of the bulb, this is important. The lifetime of the bulb is 17,000 hours of constant runtime, or likely 5 to 7 years when we're only using it 1 to 3 minutes. The competition is usually around 8,000 hours. So keep that in mind. The bulb life is important. And let's see, I think I've gone through everything else. How soon can I get one? Jerry asked. They're being built right now, and we're looking at 3 to 5 weeks out, 3 to 5, 3 to 6 maybe. So it depends on how quickly you get your order in. It's first come, first serve for orders. So that's coming. All right, I'm going to get back to my slides here. And if you guys have more questions, be sure to put them on the side. And if there's something I don't know how to answer, I will get back to you with an answer. I don't claim to know everything ever. So here we go. So let me go back so I can see your chat real quick. Here we go. All right. Is this recommended for patient eyewear too? Heidi, good question. Yes. Actually, we are having laboratories reach out to us as well, asking if they can use something like this as they receive jobs from you guys. So yes, it's good for patients' glasses. We put lenses in it, and it didn't harm the lenses at all. So this should be fine for existing glasses, new glasses, demo lenses, or prescription lenses as well. Good question. So this is from the World Health Organization. Just so you know, germicidal UV is a real thing. We're not just blowing smoke. I just wanted you guys to see this. You can look up, there's all kinds of research and articles about UV, germicidal UV. So let's talk about that dosimeter card that Norm used for calibration. That is something that we're trying to figure out if we're going to send those with the box, or if we're going to have a different method for doing your daily calibration. But essentially, they're quite expensive. So we want to make sure that we're not, you know, charging too much for these things too. We want to make sure that we're sensitive to that. So the dosimeter cards basically inactivates the virus. It's not a live virus on these cards. It duplicates it in a way that you can see that the bulbs are working. So we just want to make sure that every day you're checking the bulbs to make sure that they're working properly. We don't want you thinking that it's working when it's not. So this is important that you do this daily. Okay, now the fun part. Let's get into unboxing. Everybody's probably going to wonder if I have, let me go turn off my video here. Okay, so I don't, just so you guys know, I don't have the prototype with me to show you the UV box. Unfortunately, it's still being made. We're still trying to nail down the specifics of that. So as soon as we have a video, we will certainly share that with you guys. So let me dig into some of this stuff here real quick. Of course, we talked about hand sanitizer. I never thought I would be more excited about hand sanitizer until this pandemic hit, but I do keep it in my car. Like I said, in my purse, I keep it everywhere. And I want to make sure you guys realize that our sanitizer is liquid based. So I don't want you to be surprised when you get it. It's not gel. It is liquid based and it doesn't smell good. So be prepared. It's medical. It smells like it's medical. The other thing that we have coming is our disinfectant spray. It's going to come in a gallon jug like this. There's nothing, I'm not that strong. There's nothing in here. We wanted you to see the size of it. It's going to come, oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. Our disinfectant is coming in the 2.5 gallon. The gallon size is for the hand sanitizer. But I didn't want them to waste it. So I didn't want them to send me full containers of it. So it's a valuable commodity right now. But our disinfectant spray is coming, and all I did is I went out and bought this all-purpose sprayer at Lowe's, and I just filled it up with the disinfectant, and you can just spray your countertops with it. Again, let it air dry. It needs to sit for at least 10 seconds. So keep that in mind. We do have several sizes of the hand sanitizer available too, so there's lots of options there. Next, let's talk about masks. So this is the N95 Masks. It comes in this little container and it is folded in half, as you can see. It has a little metal piece that goes around the nasal. What I do, as any of you good opticians I'm sure will probably do, I want to flatten it out so that I can fit it properly against my nose and my cheekbones. It has straps that goes around your ears. They're elastic, so they do give a little bit. But again, all day wear is probably going to get uncomfortable. I'm going to take my glasses off so you guys read a comment. I'm not going to be able to read it for a minute. So just because I want to show you how to fit this. So we want to make sure that it fits up around the chin securely. So first I'm going to wrap it around my ear. I'm going to wrap it around my other ear. Pull it down there. And then next I'm just going to push on either side of my bridge. And I'm going to make sure that it's sealing up nice and tight. The fogging issues that people are having is because it's not sealing right here on the nose and the cheekbones. So as you put on your glasses, I'm breathing out my nose, or out my mouth, excuse me, and I'm not fogging up my lenses. Maybe just a smidge right here. So the trick is making sure that your patients understand that it's because of the seal around the bridge that is going to prevent any fogging, okay? This is recommended for the patient to wear too. I suggest that you do meet your patient or communicate with them. We're going to get to that in a minute on what to wear when they come to your office. And that's going to be completely up to you. We will go over that. Okay. Thanks, Heidi. So next I'm going to show you how to do the ear saver. I love that in this part right here, it says made in Oregon. I just think that's really a great place to put that. Very proud that we make these in the States. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around one ear. This is going to go over this part of your head, not here, okay? If you put it on where you're the small of your neck, what it's going to do is it's going to pull the mask down and it's not going to effectively seal right over your bridge. So let me just show you how to do this. So you're going to tuck it onto the corner here, pull this over, make sure you get a good seal. Take these off. Make sure you get a good seal here. Pull it up and over. And grab this side. Here we go. Up and over, and then you're going to tuck it around this side, okay? So as you guys can see, I've got it up here around the top of my head. It's pulling it tight to my chin. It's pulling tight on my nose, and it's protecting my ears from getting sore from those elastics being worn all day. Okay. Oh, don't try to do this live. It's not fun, you guys. It's not my best moment. All right, so next we're going to talk about our face shields. Let me see if anybody else had a comment. N95 is hard to get right now. Are regular surgical masks going to be okay to use until the N95 are more available? That's a personal choice. We do have KN95s in stock right now at Quantum. I'm a hot mess, sorry. So you can order KN95s through Quantum. We do have them. In terms of surgical masks, I believe we have some coming, and it's really a personal choice. I personally prefer the N95s and the KN95s because it has that the metal piece that goes around my bridge and it doesn't fog up my glasses. That's a personal choice. So it's completely up to you and your doctors, your staff. You guys decide as an office what you'd like to do. So next we're going to talk about the face shield. I'm going to unbox this. So it comes with this plastic piece. This was what goes over your forehead. Even without anything on it, it's snug and it does fit around your forehead really well. And my buddy Dan, who works with me at Quantum, is saying level 3 masks are available next week. So we've got those coming in too. So just heads up. Thanks, Dan, for that. So we also, this has this piece in it. It also has this elastic strap. And if you can see there, it has a little hole on both ends. And so you can just take this guy, wrap it around these little teeth that are on this unit here. It's probably a fancy name for it. I don't know what it's called. It's just the headband part. And then now you've got the base of it put together. Inside, it does come with 2 elastic straps, by the way. And the next thing you've got is the shield. There's 2 shields in the kit, and there are replacement shields available as well. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because it's very tight fit. So what I try to do is I put it through the side and I kind of angle it like this so I can get all the way over to the other side and get on the back end, okay? And then what I'm going to do, make sure it fits in there well. Then I'm going to kind of just shimmy it up. Things fighting me today. I'm going to shimmy it up into place. So, again, going live, it's not fun when you're messing with stuff like this. So let me try the other one because I just broke that one. I've used it a few times, so it's not really a true unboxing. So this one, but you guys are going to be taking them apart and putting them back together multiple times like I am. And you can put these in the Germicidal UV box as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so you're just going to kind of shimmy these little teeth up into place so they will kind of snap in once you get it in place there. You guys see it? Okay. You're going to feel like you're ripping it. You're not, I promise. It snaps right into place. It just takes a little bit of effort to get there, okay? So again, you're going to, this is ideal for your receptionist, okay? Because your ear, get my hair out of the way, your ear is exposed so that you can effectively put the receiver of the phone to your ear, and your mouth is exposed so you can be heard clearly by your patients. Now, one thing that I have a hard time with plastics directly on my skin. So one thing that I suggest is if you have that problem too, and you find that this is uncomfortable, there is a product that most women know about, maybe not everybody, but probably not men, but there's Moleskin that you can buy for your shoes. And it's just a rectangle piece of Moleskin, and you can cut it out to fit this piece right here, and that'll make it really comfortable if that's something that bothers you over time. Okay, I think that's all the unboxing for now. Any questions before I move on? Please speak up and let me hear them. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to start my slideshow back up again. And here we go. All right, so let's talk about service and your patient care. You still want to be able to offer unmatched patient service. You know, your patient still wants to have an experience when they come to see you. I know that, like I said earlier, it's going to be hard for those clinics that are more boutique, that they may have to start wearing scrubs or wearing the shields and the masks, those sort of things. Just know that your patient is going to be looking for those things, and they want you to wear those things. They want you to take this seriously. They want to make sure that you are taking their safety to heart and doing everything in your power to keep them safe and keep yourself safe. And everybody has different situations, right? We all have different situations. I have elderly people that live with me. My neighbor is immune compromised. My sister-in-law is immune compromised. So make sure that we are just being very aware of what your patient is perceiving when they walk in the door. It's not only a beautiful shop anymore and making sure that you have the brands that they want and the service that they want. They also need to make sure that it's clean when they come in your store. So this is something that I got from Dr. G. He was kind enough to share it with me, and I can share this with you guys too if you'd like a copy of this. This is an informed consent form that he is sending to all of his patients before they come to their appointments. And all this is basically saying, you can read here, it's asking the patient all of these questions, and if they have done any of these things, he's asking that they reschedule their appointment. It's just a way to keep him and his staff safe. And I think it's reasonable. I think you can really communicate this to your patient in a way that's caring and not scary. So keep that in mind. And the other thing is too, we need to think about the frame selection. This is all going to change. People's workplaces have changed. They're either unemployed, their insurance is changing because of their unemployment. Actually, Dr. Pinsky today, as I was walking in, she's like, I just saw a family of 4 because their insurance is expiring tomorrow. They got, they're unemployed now. So, it's important that we're empathetic to those kind of changes, but also we need to ask those questions. How is your work changed? What is your workspace like now? This may be a perfect time to introduce a computer pair to your patient. Selling is not going to be the same as it has ever been, because we need to educate now more than ever. The hard sell isn't going to work. And education comes with asking the right questions. You need to be, leading questions, asking your patient about what kind of care they want, what kind of products is going to improve their life. Because at the end of the day, what we need to be selling them is what's going to improve their life, right? And I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys all know this stuff, but education is going to be more important instead of, do you want an AR coating? Do you want a mirror coating on your sunglasses? Do you want backside AR? Those are all questions, but they don't give the why behind why you're asking that question. These are products that are going to improve their life. And so we need to make sure that we are framing it that way. Okay. But we still need to be empathetic about their situation. Now, this is where communication comes in. That email from Dr. G, now is the time to be communicating a lot with your patients through social media, through text, email. Carrier pigeon is one of my favorite ways to communicate. I mean, who doesn't love a little bird bringing you a little message, right? So now is the time, though, to be communicating with your patients, because they want to know what you're doing. And if you look at the social media stats, it has surged to 70% more usage during quarantine. But please be unique in your messaging. Think about that, because I don't know about you, but I can't watch TV anymore because every stinking commercial is exactly the same. They're all saying we're in this together, which you should say. And we did it too. I mean, look at our image there. Quantum Innovations is here for you. And we are changing the way we're doing things. But we need to be creative in how we present that message. people don't want to see the same message that they're seeing from every car company in the world. So be a little bit more creative, get some input from your friends and family on how you can be creative, reach out to those patients in a different way. Make sure that you're spending time on your social media platforms, spend time on your website, making sure that your communication is up to par. Your patients want to hear from you and they want to know what you're doing to make sure that they're going to be safe when they come see you. Okay, Heidi, I'm going to answer your question. Let me see. She says, I'm wondering if you have recommendations for how to go about frame styling once you're able to resume routine patient care. Any recommendations for ways to offer virtual try-on? Virtual try-on. I don't really have a solution for that. What I would suggest is that we wear the shields, and you can buy them too for your patients to wear, and then sanitize them between patients. That's something else you can try. I think virtual try-on is a great idea. I just don't have a solution for that just yet. And I think the frame selection is going to change. I mean, we have to maintain our distance. We have to be conscientious of what we touch, what the patient touches, and pull those things aside to be sanitized after the frame selection. Yeah, I don't really have a solution for virtual try-on. I think I think if you're just wearing a mask and you're wearing PPE, I think you're okay to let patients physically try on frames. I really don't think that needs to change necessarily. And if you have any other suggestions for virtual try-on, I'm happy to take a look at it and get back to you on it. Let me see. All right, I think that's the end. If anybody else has any other questions or something that I didn't cover, be sure to either throw it in chat or you can email me afterward. Totally fine. Again, my name is Krista Davis. I'm with Quantum Innovations. All my contact info is there. I'm happy to get back to you guys with any questions you might have. I'm also going to send you a JOT form to fill out. If you need ABO credit, please fill out that form and send it back to me. I will be sending that out tonight, and I'll be emailing the credits out over the weekend, tomorrow and over the weekend, okay? So I just have to be able to handwrite all those envelopes. So I will get those credits out to you as soon as I can, but I need the JOT form filled out by tomorrow night if you can, okay? All right, guys, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the feedback you guys have given me and the questions. It was all great. And if you have any more, like I said, just reach out to me, okay? All right, guys, have a great end of the week and a great weekend. All right, bye.